Hi, thanks for tuning into my VR Integrator how-to series. In this video, we're going to talk about all the features that come with the VR Integrator pack. Let's go ahead and start off with the basic hands. These are the basic hands that you find in like the Epic content, but I've improved them quite a bit. So one of the things you can do is you can move your hands around, and they have some procedural reactive animation to it. So as you move your hand back and forth, some jiggliness comes to it, and also as you turn your hand and rotate it, it'll actually have a blend space to do a little bit different actions with the hand. It gives a little bit more lifelike. So even when you fish your hand and move, you get a little bit of that. Also, one thing that you get is whenever you have physics, you have all the haptic feedback that you'd like to have. So if I want to go ahead and turn my hand into a fist and punch, you can punch them, and you also feel the feedback from hitting that. There's lots of different haptic feedback curves with this pack. The other thing you can do is with the basic default hands, if you notice these blocks over here, I'll go ahead and grab one of these blocks. You can grab one of these. You can have basic rock grabbing or block grabbing, whatever you want to grab. You can take it, do it like normal. And then the other thing you can do is teleport. So one of the things I want to do is go ahead and teleport. There's lots of different options we can have for teleport. We can teleport just to the ground with no nav mesh. We can teleport only to nav mesh. And we can also teleport with the 3D in the air. So I'll go ahead and do that as we rotate the stick around. Now this is made for the Oculus Touch. From the get-go, but it's also been adapted to the Vive. So there's a lot more features for the controllers on the Touch right now compared to the Vive. So basically, if you go ahead and move it around, you can see how smooth and precise. There's a smoothing algorithm going on inside Blueprints to keep that really smooth, so you can keep it up close. If you do this without the smoothing algorithm, it will be jittery, really bad, and you won't be able to correct it. It'll be really bad for the eyes, and this doesn't feel good. This feels good. Also, as you move it around, both of them, they have haptic feedback. So as you're dragging, it feels like you're dragging something. So definitely try that out in the demo if you haven't tried this out yet. That's pretty cool. All right, so we'll go ahead and teleport around. As we teleport around, it's just like you're used to. We have different states. If we look at my menu here, we have change VR states by pressing the button. So basically, on the Vive, it's the shoulder button, and on the Touch, it's the game special right. So as you switch them, I'll go ahead and do that. Now I have my menu up. So as my menu comes up, and the first thing you get is a laser pointer. Laser pointer also has the smooth algorithm to it too. So you can sit there and see it move around. Now all this stuff is really performant. I've spent some time and knocked out a lot of the frames required to use these. So there's really good really not a lot of performance hit. Even better than like the example content that's provided by Epic, which has a huge amount of frame cost once you go up to like teleport. So I reuse a lot of the splines. So resampling, I have a lot of techniques I came up with to make it better. Also, when you do have a selection pointer, you can select onto these windows that are placed in the world. That's another feature you get. You get these windows you can place in the world and send them however you want. You can drag them around. And they have options, like these are also windows. I don't have the drag bar. They have options to, you have draggable, closable. This one's not closable. So I don't want people closing out the instructions. But if you spawn a new one, like on here, we can spawn another menu through our radial menu. So this one right here, either with my selection or with the radial, I can click on it, and wherever I have my menu, I'll click, it'll spawn there. So then I can take it and drag it around, move wherever I want, and interact. Let's see, I have an inventory. And this one does have the close button, so I can close it. And also I have another example. I have a time slider here. So if I want to do time, I can drag it. And as I move around, the windows that I spawn with my radio menu follow around with me. So as I move around here, you can see that it does follow me. So I'll go ahead and close this out. That's a quick overview of that. And then as far as the menu goes, it's interactable with the radio menu and here. So if I click on here, it'll go to the next menu. This is a collapsible menu. So if you hit the home, the trigger button, it takes you back home or one layer up. So if you have several layers, so let's go here to the right one, we have this layer, and let's go ahead and go to here, and we have several options. Click on, and if we want to go back up one level, we click the trigger button, it goes up one level. Click it again, it goes back to home. So that's pretty much how that works. And then the next thing we have is the go ahead into this other main menu. We have this Default hands is what we start out with, the white ones, and we have this new one called Jedi hands. This is the one I was pretty frustrated with the default hand because I wanted to actually use it in a game to attach weapons to and etc. Which you can't do that with the default implementation because there's an inversion factor. And the inversion factor makes it super complicated, unreasonable to actually use one hand for the left and right by using -1 because your sockets, everything get transformed, and it's really difficult to keep track of all the different times you need to change back and forth. So it's easier to use two different hands than try to invert it. So I'm against the whole inversion thing. And in fact, if you look at how Epic does the Robo Recall, they actually use two different hands. So I have these two hands. The blue hands are different set of bones. We have a grips bone inside of, so we can grip these weapons. So I look at this and click, it attaches to my weapon. Oh, I had my out of the tracking sensor. I'll go and grab this one. As you see, they snap in place perfectly, and if I let go, my hands are animated to let go also. So if I want to grab it, I can move my hand. Look as it grabs into my hand, I can move it, and it'll grab into it. So it's really nice and smooth. Something I worked on, try to make it really nice. Again, this is all performant. Again, the collision will hit on these, so you can throw these, and these feel good. One thing you'll notice if you try to do the inverted method, you're not able to use the left hand. So like something like this, how I can switch back and forth with my hands, isn't very clean at all. And then if you ever throw with your left hand or the inverted hand, you can't throw it correctly. So like that, the collision and the way it transforms doesn't work correctly, so you have to use two hands to do it. So this is what this pack does. Now I've included the MAIA files so that people can actually use the socketing system I created. It's easy to have everything socketed in the right place. There's two different swords. Go ahead and move over here and grab those. And I have an option to, you can move while the swords are in your hand too. So that's pretty sweet. I'll go ahead and move around here. And then I have my swords. So basically this is the main things that you get with this pack. It's pretty awesome as far as a lot of work going into making the hands feel good and picking things up really good. So I'll go ahead. If you're really good, you can actually time it. Oop, I didn't do it very good. Let's try it again. I can actually time it if I'm really good at it. Right back to myself so I can throw my weapon. And nope, not that good. But yeah, practice it a few times and you'll get it. It's pretty cool just to sit there play around with his weapons as you try to Jedi mind trick him back in. Now all these settings are configurable, so you can change the speed, the distances what they snap at. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a question below. And again, thanks for watching. Bye.